Hey guys, what is going on? So I'm going to show you guys using Proxmox how to set up an Immich server in Docker using an SMB share connected to TrueNAS to actually store your footage or your photos, whatever it may be, and also make it accessible through Cloudflare Zero Trust so that you can use it anywhere in the world. Let's get right into it. I hope you guys enjoy. Let's go. All right, so here is what we're gonna do. I am not going to show you how to install TrueNAS, although I am going to show you how to set the SMB share up within TrueNAS. We are going to create two containers utilizing Ubuntu. So your host name, I'm just gonna do Immich2. I'm gonna make my password. And then template, I'm gonna do Ubuntu 2404. Disk, I'm gonna drop this down, or I'm gonna bump this up to 32 gig, just because we are still gonna have to cache some things on the server. CPU, I'm gonna do 2 cores, and I'm gonna do 2 gigs of RAM. Network, we're gonna set DHCP, and we are going to start. Oh, one more thing, don't start. This unprivileged container, we're gonna uncheck this box. Now we can click finish. And once this gets set up and running, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the container and change some settings. So it's up and running. We're gonna go to options. Under features, we are going to check nesting and SMB. The nesting is gonna allow us to run the Docker, and the SMB is going to allow us to connect to the SMB share. After that, we can click start. All right, and now that it's up, we're gonna root, put in that password we created. Now I'm gonna show you guys how to SSH into it, simply because it's easier to actually do the work when you're actually SSH'd into the device. So you're gonna have to edit one file. It's gonna be nano edc ssh, and then it's gonna be sshd config. You're gonna wanna come down to permit root login. You're gonna wanna change this to yes and uncomment it out. Save and modify, and then system ctl restart ssh. There we go. Now we can SSH into it. If we didn't do that, it wouldn't allow us to connect to the device under root. So to actually connect to the device, we're gonna go to IPA. We're gonna need to do something else with this as well. We're going to copy this iNet IP address. It's gonna be under our NIC, depends on what NIC you have as well. And we're gonna go down to network. We're going to change this from DHCP to static /24 at the end, and then put your gateway in this field here. We're gonna click OK. This is going to ensure that we're staying static and we're not changing IP addresses for future reference, so we don't end up disconnecting from the Immich server. I'm gonna go ahead and try to ping out, make sure it's working as it is. And we are all set there. I'm gonna use something called TrueNAS in order to connect to this server. I'm gonna go and paste that IP in there. I know my root username and password, and then I'm just gonna click connect, green continue, and then we are in. A couple things we have to do to get started. Obviously, we're going to want to apt update and apt upgrade. We're going to go ahead and let this go through and do its thing. All right, so now that we are upgraded and updated, I'm gonna go ahead and clear the console. We are going to install wget. This is something that's going to be required in order to pull the packages from Immich. So we are going to apt get install wget. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to have to disable AppArmor. This is for Docker, and it's something that we're going to have to remove and disable so that it doesn't mess with our Immich install. If you don't do this, your Immich install will fail when it goes to launch the Docker Compose file. So we're gonna app remove AppArmor. And a yes, and it's gonna remove AppArmor for us. and then we want to reboot now. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to set up the share for the SMB so that you can actually add your Immich files to it. So you're going to want to go to credentials, you're going to want to go to users, and you're going to add and just do a, put your full name here, and then go ahead and put your password in here and here, and click save. So now you're going to have a user account if you don't already. Go to your data sets, click add data set, and I'm going to name this Immich 2. Dataset preset, select SMB and click save. This is going to automatically create an SMB share, so you won't have to do that. Under permissions, click edit, make your owner the user that you just created, and click apply group. Go ahead and save access control list. And there you go. You are all set up on the SMB side. It is that easy. All right, so now that we are connected back, we want to run a few commands. I'm just going to copy paste them in. These are all going to be listed down below. So the first one we're going to want to install is the CA certificates and the GNUP, which these are both kind of our prerequisites in order to install the new Docker. Docker IO, Docker Compose won't work. You need to install the newest Docker Compose. So we're going to go ahead and install the key rings, and we are going to add these and permissions. So next, we're going to echo, and then we're going to apt-get update and get our new Docker install. So this is just going to go through and install the Docker packages that we need, as well as the Docker Compose that we need. All right, so now that that is installed, we want to do Docker Compose version. And you're going to see we are on version 239.1. To know whether or not you have the right Docker, if you have to put the dash in between, then it's the wrong version of Docker. It wants to be Docker space Compose version. Now, one thing we're going to have to do again is we're going to have to remove that app armor again. Unfortunately, that installs it again, so we just have to remove it one more time. And then we want to reboot now. It doesn't take very long for these containers to come back up, so we're just going to wait, and we are back up. So next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to set up the SMB share. So in order to do this, we are going to want to go nano root, and then we're going to want to create a .nas file. Inside of this file, we want to do username equals, and then whatever your username was. Mine was jdoe. And then we want to do password equals whatever password you set. So you are done in this file. Okay, so after we've made that NAS file, what we want to do is we want to go to our mount directory, and we want to make directory Immich. I already have one that exists, so I don't need to. Then what we want to do is we want to nano etc fs tab. Inside of this directory, what we want to do is we have to put in a long line of code. So the first is going to be our IP address of our TrueNAS server, and then we want to specify that dataset name, so Immich 2. Then we want to specify where we're wanting to mount, which is going to be that Immich file that we did before, and then specify what the file or what the mount type is going to be. Then user. Then we want to do credentials equals our root and then our NAS file that we created. IO char set equals utf8, no perm, and 0, 0. All right, so once you have the NAS file created and the FS tab edited, what you want to do, you want to sudo apt install, and you want to install CIFS utils. Go ahead and let it install. I already have it installed. And then you want to do mount-a. Now, to make sure you're mounted, you want to do df-h, and you're going to see down here that you are mounted to Immich 2, and you are good to go. All right, so the next thing you're going to want to do is move to our root directory, so cd root, and then you're going to paste in a couple commands. First, we're going to create our directory. Then we are going to get our Docker Compose file. Go ahead and let that download, and then we're going to get our env file. And you're going to see we have our Docker Compose in there, and if we nano.env, you're going to see we have an env file. So our upload location is going to be that mount Immich. So this is going to be where our files are actually stored. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to, what I like to do, so this is going to be our data location, or where our databases are stored. This has to be on your local system. It cannot be on that SMB share. So what I like to do is Immich_database, and that is all you have to do here. And we're going to go and make directory mnt, and then Immich_database. Now what we can do is Docker compose up-d. It's going to go ahead and pull all the files we need. We're going to let this go through. All right, it looks like everything is running. To make sure, we're going to do Docker ps. This is going to list everything. You're going to see everything is still starting, and actually maybe up. All right, so next we're going to go to the IP address that is listed here, and we want to do 2283. And there we go. We have Immich. So we're going to put in our email address. We're going to go and put in a password. And then we're going to put in our name. Click sign up. And then we're going to log in. Go ahead and set our theme, do whatever we have to do here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and upload a file, just a test file. Once I have that file uploaded, I'm going to actually go and check it out on my system. So I'm going to go to this PC. I'm going to go ahead and connect to my network, TrueNAS, Immich 2, upload. And then we can see that the upload I just uploaded is here. So that means the mount is working and all the Immich files are actually uploading to that mount. Lastly, what we have to do is we want to go to Cloudflare. I'll actually start from the beginning. We want to go to Zero Trust. We want to go to Networks, Tunnels, and then we want to create a tunnel. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to select Cloudflare. We're just going to call it Test Tunnel for now. Save tunnel. We're going to click Docker up here. And now we are going to go back to Proxmox, and we are going to go to PVE, create container. We're going to call it Cloudflare. So the reason I'm doing this separate from my Immich server is because generally when you're doing your Cloudflare tunnels, you are going to have multiple things connected to it. And I think it's going to be a bad practice to attach it to your Immich server and your Immich server go down, and then now your Cloudflare server is down. So I'm just going to call this Cloudflare 2. You can leave the unprivileged container to true. And then we're going to set our password. Template, again, Ubuntu. Disk, we can drop this down to 4. Cores, we can leave it at 1. Memory, we can leave it at 512. Again, DHCP. And we are going to click Start After Created and Finish. All right, Once that's created, and once it's started, I'm not going to SSH into this because there's just a few commands and we won't ever really be accessing this. So we're going to log in root, password. We're going to apt install docker.io. Forgot to update. So apt update and apt install docker.io. All right, once that's done installing, we're going to go back over to our tunnels configure and we're going to copy this docker run command. I'm just going to right click, paste this plain text. All right. Now, if we go back to tunnels and we look at our test tunnel, it's going to say healthy and it's going to be online. So next we're going to go in here, go to public host names, add public host name. We're going to do a subdomain of Immich. And then we're going to select our domain. I only have one. I am going to blur this out. If you do have your own domains, it's going to be the exact same. And then we're going to go up here and we're just going to copy the IP addresses along with the port. We're going to paste it in here, remove our HTTP, and select the service type of HTTP. We're going to click save. Now, if we go into the domain that we just created, you're going to see we have the login. So that is how you create a Immich server utilizing an SMB share, attaching it to Cloudflare, and being able to access it wherever you are. It's super simple. All the commands will be left in the comments, or all the commands will be left in the description. If you have any questions or concerns, go to the comments. Please like the video, and I appreciate you guys watching. Bye.